Hey people, this is Mindful Talks podcast. Welcome to the 17th episode of hashtag Decoding UI UX. Today we're going to discuss all about the common UX button types. So yes, starting from the buttons that are an important element that creates a productive and positive user experience. UX buttons are usually styled links to attract users and drive them in a specific direction. Through buttons, we can link to other pages or finish tasks like a form of submission or buying online. So sometimes we use them as CTA that is call to actions when we need our users to finish the actions on our website. So firstly, let's understand what is button. So being an engaging and interactive element, a button allows getting the interactive feedback that is expected from the system following a specific command. It's a control that enables users to communicate directly with the digital product and sends important commands for accomplishing a specific object. Usually, they are placed throughout the website UI, and buttons must be recognizable and easily findable while signifying clearly the action they enable a user to finish. So let's check out some common types of UX buttons. So the first is drop down button. When you click the drop down button, it shows a drop down list of unique products. Sometimes you can see the same type in the setting button. If a user selects an option in the list, it is generally labeled as active. The second is text button. So these buttons are text labels that happen outside of a text block, and the text must explain the action that will happen in case a user taps or clicks the button. The third is hamburger button. This button hides the hamburger menu, so if you click on it, the menu extends. It is an extensively used engaging element of mobile and web layout these days. The fourth is toggle button. So toggle buttons enable users to change their settings between two or more states. These buttons can be utilized as on-off button. Moreover, you can use them to group associated options, but make sure to arrange your layout in a way to convey that specific toggle buttons are part of a group. The fifth is floating action button. So this button is like a part of Google material design. This is circular material button that showcases and lifts an ink reaction if you press it. So you can use this button for a promoted action. So a circled icon floating above the user interface makes this button remarkable. This button has motion behaviors incorporating a transferring anchor point, launching and mopping as well. The sixth is CTA button. So a CTA button is another group engaging element of UI, the main objectives of which is to encourage users for taking a particular action, and this specific action presents a conversation for a certain screen or page. In short, it converts a passive user into an active one. Like technically this button can be any type that is supported using to call to action text. It's an interactive nature is its prime difference from all the other button on the screen or the page. So it grabs attention and encourages users for taking necessary action. Like now comes the seventh point, that is ghost button. So don't get scared. Ghost buttons, also known as outline buttons. So they are like they signify important actions which are not the main action on a page. These buttons precisely must be an outline without fill the surroundings text that signifies an action. The eighth is raise button. Contained or raised buttons are basically rectangular shaped and they lift from the screen surface by using a drop shadow. So this shadow signifies that you can press or click the button. These buttons mostly add a dimension to flat layouts and they mainly feature functionality on wide, busy or crowded spaces. The ninth is share button. So with the immense popularity of social platforms, emailing and chatting, share buttons ease the process of connecting a website or app content to the social profiles of the users. The 10th is expandable button. So after being tapped or clicked by users, an expandable button opens different options, and this is another way to arrange the appropriate interaction flow without making the screen overloaded, which is highly crucial for mobile UI restricted in screen space. The 11th is plus button. So being tapped or clicked, plus buttons allows users to add unique content to the system. Based on an app type, it can be a new contact, post, note, location, and product in the list. So everything that's fundamental action for the online product. The 12th is delete button. Using button plus animation will display the buttons functions more clearly. So when users tap a button for deleting, an animation depicts the action and shows the file getting removed. The 13th is play button. So the play button utilizes an attractive hover effect, and once users move across or even like over this framer button, the entire button springs out with an amazing 3D gradient design. So if users move their mouse cursor away, the effect will fully append, and these designs are interesting and alluring as well. The last but not the least, flat button. So this button does not lift but fills with lots of colors if you press it. So the prime advantage of this button is that they reduce distraction from the content. So these buttons are used in the line with padding, so the users can find them easily on toolbars and in like for unifying the button action with the dialogue content. So yes, that's it for today. I hope that you enjoyed listening to this podcast. This was a bit different one, and yes, if you really enjoy such kind of podcast, just let us know on our social media platforms. Just follow us on Instagram, YouTube, as well as Twitter. So that's it for today. We will see you in the next episode. Till then, keep on listening Mindful Talks podcast.